We are engaged in aerial reconnaissance. This is secret information. Firstly, it's a duty. Secondly, yes, it's a pleasure. When we find them, when we strike, it's exciting, it's amazing. We didn't invite them here, it's their own doing. First of all, that's why we need to smoke them out of here. My name is Alexander, commander of the Unmanned Aerial Systems Platoon, 47th Mechanized Infantry Brigade. I have been in the Army since May 2022. I did not go to the military recruitment office on my own initiative, but my family had agreed with me that if I received the draft notice, we would not look for ways to escape enlistment or anything else, and I would join the Army and serve. I came here as an ordinary soldier. I didn't wait around to be drafted into the infantry, but signed up for the reconnaissance company by myself to operate Mavic drones. Then, there was an order to train a crew for Leleka 100 UAV. Well, we talked it over with the guys and decided collectively that me and a few other guys would fit the job. That's how my story of operating UAVs began.
З цього і почалась історія на роботу саме на крилах.
We conduct aerial reconnaissance using UAVs, namely Leleka 100, Furia, Shark, and Fly-Eye. We assemble antennas to establish signal transmission with the UAVs and for control purposes. By the way, they are manufactured in Ukraine. The best antenna is in our 47th Mahura Brigade, where the best sons of Ukraine serve, and daughters, by the way. Computers, and we're ready to go. We are currently deploying the ground part of the UAV complex. A dugout means safety, which is first and foremost. Well, first of all, we are not visible here, unlike inside the vehicle. Working from inside the vehicle is also dangerous because there is always the risk of being hit. In other words, the vehicle will not protect you from shrapnel, but a dugout will. My main task is to be a pilot. I sit at the computer and control the UAV. The flight direction and flight time are important factors. It takes about 15 minutes from the start of the UAV complex deployment to the actual UAV takeoff. Ready? Yes. Our main task is to monitor approaches to positions, detect and transmit data to the command post, and report what we have detected there for further destruction or monitoring. Currently, our operational range is more than 100 kilometers, which is not a problem for us with the equipment we have. We have our own reconnaissance zone that we work in. If we receive any additional tasks, we fly wherever we need to, but this is done upon a command from the command post. It is a reconnaissance aircraft. It only performs reconnaissance functions. It cannot carry combat weaponry, FPV drones, or anything else of that type. It's quite an interesting and intense job. It requires constant attention. You can't get distracted. You have to stay focused the whole time. You have to study the landscape and look for certain things. Our unit is on duty 24/7. Even if the weather isn't very good, we still stay there. It may not be practical, but it's necessary. If we need to take off, I think we will fly in any weather conditions to rescue the personnel who are deployed ahead of us. They are covering us. There have been times when we had to take off urgently, regardless of the weather, because our people were advancing there, and we had to search, escort, and strike the enemy. Protect the front line so that the enemy does not break through it, so that the lives of our infantrymen are saved. We are monitoring the enemy's immediate rear. Our task is to ensure that there are no surprises for our line of defense, that no enemy armored assault group appears out of nowhere in front of our defensive positions. Yes, this job may not be as exciting as that of the drone operators who are constantly flying over the front line. But it is no less important and no less interesting, because we often see very serious enemy weapons. For example, a month ago we caught a Pion self-propelled heavy artillery, which was fired at by our artillery and HIMARS. The Pion was hit, not destroyed though, but they couldn't work undisturbed for an hour or two. They could fire a shot or two, and then had to hide because there was our reconnaissance above them. We have arrived at another location, the takeoff point of our other Leleka UAV crew. The more equipment we have, the more mobile we are. We can take off more easily and adapt to weather conditions, for example, or other factors. This means I have a choice between flying on Leleka UAV or Shark UAV. Well, I would prefer to have more Ukrainian-made equipment.
We should have more domestically made aircraft in service, rather than Polish, Austrian, or any other foreign UAVs. We need domestic production, and we need to keep developing this sector, not only during wartime or times of active hostilities, but also in general, so that this industry continues to grow in the future.
Being a UAV operator isn't like you come in and instantly start flying. A person has to be trained, and that takes about a month and a half to 2 months for just one UAV system. After completing the course, a person doesn't immediately start operating the UAV. They need to be shown how things work in practice and placed into a crew with more experienced operators so they can learn from them.
Yes, a newcomer can take off and land a UAV, but developing real field skills takes time, a few more months of practice. To form a proper crew, you need about a month and a half to 2 months of training, and then they still have to work alongside an experienced team to avoid pointless losses. Because all of this equipment is extremely expensive, to fly the Leleka UAV properly, I spent my own free time away from my position. For several months, I kept going to a team on duty, watching them, learning from them. They explained things, showed me how they work, and thanks to that, we eventually started flying on our own. That's if the person is motivated. Without that motivation, the time of training easily doubles or even triples. Currently, there are recruitment centers where you can apply for such service. As far as I know, there are quite a few motivated people who come there. And overall, the UAV domain is pretty well developed. We have, for example, the 414th Unmanned Strike Aviation Regiment, the Magyar's Birds, or whatever it's called now. People can get a chance to join them. If a person hasn't been hiding from military service, hasn't been caught on the street, and comes to a recruitment center voluntarily, I think their wishes will be heard and taken into account. So far, 6 new people have joined our unit. They didn't end up in the infantry. They ended up here, which means they were motivated. The personnel need to be motivated. They need to be given the equipment to work and to strike, so they can see the purpose of what they're working for. It's motivating, for example, to see a tank being hit. It's impressive, really impressive, especially when it's just moved into position and is immediately hit. In this direction, there was a report that a Su-34 aircraft, which had been striking our positions with glide bombs, was shot down. We got the order to fly quickly into that grid square, and yes, we found and confirmed the target. Firstly, it's a duty. Secondly, yes, it's a pleasure. When we find them, when we strike, it's exciting, it's amazing. We didn't invite them here, it's their own doing. First of all, that's why we need to smoke them out of here.
Тому треба їх викурювати звідси. Мотивують.
The daily shelling of the enemy are very motivating. You can't just shrug it off. The fact that they even dare to come here, it really pisses you off. I honestly don't understand what they could possibly be looking for here, on our territory, when they already have plenty of their own. What I would like to say to civilians? To believe in our victory. I understand how hard it is for them. We at least see what's happening here with our own eyes. They only see it on TV, and TV always throws things to extremes. Either everything's terrible or everything's great. The truth is somewhere in the middle. Things aren't perfect on our side, but at the same time, it's often not as terrifying as some people make it sound. People need to think critically, and remember that the war is still going on. Be ready, because at some point, we may need your help. And if you think that money donations end up in someone's pocket, no, they don't. They help. They help a lot. Even $5 donated to a fundraiser, when the guys are asking for a vehicle or, I don't know, for repairs, it really matters. It truly helps.